Hello and welcome to Sammy on Stadia. This is round 20 of the F2 Challenge from Mexico. Now, I'm very excited as last round we managed to get second place in the USA. Meaning Jack Aitken is now back ahead of his teammate Dorian Buccolacci. We're still 15th in the championship, but having had a great result like that, I'm keen to build on it going into the last few races of the season.
Welcome. It's time to head back to Mexico at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for today's big race. The teams are all lined up on the grid and we're just about ready to join them for what will no doubt be a memorable race. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez gets its name from the legendary drivers and brothers Pedro and Ricardo Rodriguez. This circuit is the highest above sea level on the calendar, coming in at just under 2,300 meters. So while the drag will be low around the 17 corners here in Mexico City, cooling could be a problem for cars who spend too much time in the dirty air. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Let's take a look at the grid positions for today's race. Good job yesterday from Louis Delatraz. The Swiss driver starts from pole position. And it's Nobuharu Matsushita alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Mazepin, Giotto, Nick de Vries, and Galeo, Latifi, Tete Camara, Schumacher, Guan Yu Zhou, Aylot, Correa, Giuliano Alesi, and Boschong, King, Boccalacci, Raghunathan, and Jack Aitken, Hubert, and Tatiana Calderon completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
That qualifying obviously didn't work out for us. After P2 in the USA, we've been down P18 in Mexico. Our setup is very simple. With so thin air coming out, you get quite good top speed even with maximum downforce. And maximum top speed would mean that we don't have any downforce for the corners where we need them in that middle sector. So I'm going to go preset 1, maximum downforce. So go ahead and start the race. P18 means there's a lot asked of us to try and get into the top 10 to score points again. Let's see what we can do. It's a nice long run down to the first turn. We don't appear to have got the best getaway. Oh, we've turned around behind us. We've pushed off into the road. We get a warning for our collision with Calderon. I assume Calderon was the one responsible there.
Mind that front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
I don't think I'll be going for the new strategy. I'm going to be a little bit more ruthless as I get up to 17. Going into the middle sector where that downforce is important. I think we are missing out.
Nice start.
Going into the stadium section, this is what makes the Mexican track so famous. Not normally an overtaking place, but we seem to have found a way of getting past our old rival King, who comes back at us quite aggressively. Going to leave room on the outs, on the inside of him, on the corner. But we are ahead. And across the line, we finished first lap. You can see our teammate just ahead of us, having drafted past Boschon. Let's see what we can do on braking. We're going to go down there, down the inside, and incredibly it works with a lot of grabbing. We are now right alongside, or right behind our teammate. Looking to see what we can do. Can we finish ahead of our teammate? That would be very good. Definitely got an advantage into these few corners. I take the inside, he's still next to us. He's going to have to fall behind. I think he might have nudged us a little bit, but he is now behind. So we're ahead in the championship for the first time in ages, and we're back ahead of him on the track. Next up, a few more drivers like Schumacher and Lacey. Some great second generation names there. And we're going to go down the inside. And I think we've just got past Schumacher. Have we? No. DRS enabled there, but that was the last we needed. We wanted the downforce, and all of a sudden we're back down in 19th with it all to do yet again. Got a little bit ahead of ourselves. Fancied a top 10 finish for a few moments there, I have to admit. We've now got to get past these drivers again. Goonfin, Hubert, King, our teammate a little bit further up. Running Goonfin off the road quite aggressive. We'll get those corners right eventually. We do end up with DRS going into the zone. It opens up, giving us a bit of advantage down the straight. Not enough to overtake, or get anywhere near. We're going to be a little less aggressive this time. Gives us DRS again going into start finish straight, this lovely long straight. Look at that speed climbing, 192, 194, 195 and more. Go into the braking zone. We've got DRS again on this next straight. We're going to bury the throttle. It's going to work. Hubert's got the DRS in front of us as well, so it's not going to be as much of an advantage. We have been good into this corner. Not this time though. I think Hubert might be the last guy we overtake at this rate. It's proving a bit more difficult. The ice again, and into that to be corner, straight into the stadium.
This is your final lap of the race.
Final lap of the race. I aim to get past Hubert. into turn 1, but unable to do it. And everyone has their DRS open going into what I think is turn 4. Down here. We're going to actually get ourselves on the inside. And yes, that was a beautiful move. After a race filled with very aggressive moves, that was a very clean move, straight on the inside, didn't give Hugo a choice. Got Joss again on Boschong, who we've also had a few good fights with. As Giotto comes through to take the race, that is very unusual. Meanwhile, we use the distraction of those lovely fireworks and smoke signals. It's not working, we're sliding, and we've lost position to Hubert. I don't know what's happened. Oh, absolutely awful in the last few corners. That must have been absolutely incredible, but it's not done well.
That's it for another race and a fantastic win for Uni Virtuosi. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out of everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way around.
And as the adrenaline dies down after another eventful race, here come our top 3 out onto the podium. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
Alex, I choose Juan Manuel Correa. Just impressed me in the overtakes maneuver, so well done to him.
After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
So after a second place finish in the USA, we finished second from last in Mexico. And you can see that it's a shame. Our lap time was about the same as what we were seeing from Hubert, a little bit off like Malaysia and Schumacher, who we did try and overtake, but a little bit too aggressive. Cold One also had a similar fastest lap, but she had a pit stop where she ran into the back of us at the start. I wouldn't mind seeing what happened there actually. This is on board. We'll go to the far chase cam on this. I see. This might have been my fault a little bit then. You can see she's already on the inside of me. I perhaps should have seen her a bit better. Obviously, force into the wall. That forces me into the wall. O-ring's a lot more damage than I. In fact, she goes over to the other side as well. Picks up more damage and eventually gets back on. She goes around, pits at the end of this lap and finishes half a minute off me. I've done that. I've had pit stops on the first lap in these races. You can see it already. It's not been a nice feeling. Thankfully it didn't happen to me here, especially after the highs of our second place finish earlier. We had a good race. It was a shame to finish where we did, but back to things as normal, I think. Last 2 races of the F2 Challenge are Brazil and Abu Dhabi, and they'll be coming up over the next few days. Thanks for watching.